Our next induction is that of someone who I had the privilege of skating with during that period. It was an amazing time for Canadian skating, and the pride and camaraderie amongst the athletes was quite special at the time. We were always there for each other. Entering in the athlete category, Kathy Matousek was part of an extremely strong Canadian pair team, which produced numerous international titles and medals. These photos that you see are near the end of her competitive career, but how did all of this get started?
Well, Kathy was born in Prague, Czechoslovakia in 1964, which at the time was under communist rule and a dark part of the country's history. Now Prague is amazing, historic, and alive, my favorite city in Europe. Kathy began skating at the age of 5.
Kathy was taken to the rink to learn to skate, but only had 4 lessons prior to that Christmas break. You see, her father came to the rink and told the coach that the family was going on a Christmas holiday to Austria, and they weren't sure when they would be back. The coach simply looked into her father's eyes and said, "Good luck." No words were needed, he knew.
That Christmas, the family had defected from Czechoslovakia and eventually immigrated to Canada, where Kathy continued her early skating years in New Westminster. It was many years later when Kathy was on the national team here in Canada and at the Skate Canada International event in Victoria in 1978. Kathy and her mother were walking in the competition arena, and the Czech coach spoke to her mother in Czech and said, "Thank you for keeping Kathy in skating." You see, it was the same coach that started Kathy so many years earlier. Funny how life is.
Kathy's competitive skating in BC started with one of the great taskmasters, Eddie Rada. He was a true European professional skating coach and a real trainer. You were always in good shape with Eddie as your coach. At the same time, while doing singles, she had a few young pair partners, which did not add up to much until she partnered with Brad Starchuk, her first serious pair partner, bigger and stronger, and so her pathway began to unfold.
As with most partnerships, and especially those who travel the full distance to the international podium, there are a number of partners throughout their career. Different stages of life that marry fate and intent, at least for the moment, seem to change according to what we need at that particular stage of development and life.
So following Brad Starchuk, there was a partnership with Bill O'Neill, a very strong partner and part of Kathy's development, and then came Eric Thompson. Eric had excellent body line and posture, which added to the overall performance, and again, part of Kathy's development. All good partners who brought to Kathy more experience and fueled her competitive desire for even more.
During that time, Carrie Leach, who ran a national pair school in Kitchener-Waterloo, was always asking Linda Brockman about Kathy and could she come east to partner and train at his school. Kathy's mom, Helen, here tonight, and Linda always thought she was too young to make the move. However, at the end of the partnership with Eric Thompson, the timing seemed to be more in favor.
So the move was made. She tried out first with Mark Rousum, then Lyndon Johnson, 2 fabulous partners in their own right, and both who went on to represent Canada at the world level. But in the end, the partnership of Lloyd Eisler and Kathy Matousek was created.
They competed in 3 world championships and 1 Olympic Games. It was in 1984 that Kathy and Lloyd became Canadian pair champions. They placed 8th at the Winter Olympics in Sarajevo. They moved up then 5 spots, up to 5th at the World Championships in Ottawa.
Just watching that moment there, we were marching into the opening ceremonies in Sarajevo, Kathy and I side by side, and I know I share that moment with you as one of the highlights of my career, that moment that we shared together as a team. But Kathy's big breakthrough came the next season at the World Championships in 1985, where they climbed on to the world podium.
When I asked Kathy who was the most impactful coach in her life, she never hesitated for a second in giving the answer, Linda Brockman, another member of our Skate Canada BC Hall of Fame. When I asked about some of her highlights, Kathy said, no question winning the national championships in 1984, walking into the Olympic Stadium with Tracy and Brian Orser in Sarajevo were her top 2. When asked about the toughest moments in her career, she said that when things didn't go well, it was the feeling that she had let people down: her family, her coaches, her country.
Well, we are here, Kathy, to tell you you never let anyone down, ever. We thank you for your energy and enthusiasm, discipline, and courage. A class act who is also a world medalist, and this is something that few can say.
I would like to ask Jamie McGregor, a former coach of Kathy, to come up here to present the award. It is indeed a great honor for me, on behalf of Skate Canada BC, to welcome into the Skate Canada BC Hall of Fame. Please welcome Kathy Matousek.
Well, thank you very much to Skate Canada, and I really, truly do feel part of a family forever. So thank you very much for that, and I have to say thank you to my mom and dad for letting me continue my dream. Thank you.